right. Good morning, my friends. How we doing? Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Morning, guys. Welcome back. 1 second, just working on something real quick while we wait. Rusty, damn. Appreciate that, Rusty. Hopefully made some money on Tesla, maybe? Some money on Tesla? Morning, guys. Morning. Another big day for Tesla, man. Coinbase up big. Yep, Coin, Tesla. The crypto names are big moves there. Just setting up this thing real quick. We got something to announce here this morning. Hopefully you guys will like it. Costco, man. Yeah, Costco is crazy. All right, I'll stop being distracted in 10 seconds here. All right, let's do it. Game time. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day. Hope you guys are having a good morning. Hope you're having a good Monday. Friday, yeah, some nice moves again on Tesla. The cryptos, CrowdStrike, really nice. Carlos, yes, absolutely. Hopefully you guys liked the video that I made on Tesla, sort of going through all my decision making, going through what I was in, what I was getting out of, and sort of my thought process behind it all. Really nice. We talked about that Dow strength on Friday pre-market, and boy, oh boy, was that spot on. Costco, crazy strong. Eli Lilly, crazy strong. And then some things I'm watching today, Home Depot with earnings tomorrow. That Lowe's retest. So a lot of that Dow strength coming in. And then something to sort of recognize today, guys, is a little bit of semiconductor weakness. Just a little bit. A little bit of semiconductor weakness, a little bit of, just not as juicy as the rest. I didn't even watch the rest. Who won the Detroit? Who won the game last night? Detroit by 3. Nice. Yeah, just not a lot of strength on those semiconductors, and that's something to pay attention to. We do have earnings on Nvidia coming up soon. So you might be seeing just sort of that wait and see type move on the semiconductors until that earnings comes out. I think that's possibly what's happening right now. So I'm going to stay a little bit away from the semiconductors until I get a little bit more clarity there. And then, we'll see. So that's that. Something I want to talk about real quick. Actually, no, we'll wait to do that. Let's go ahead and just start. Let's jump in. So first things first, you guys know what time it is. It's time for the WAP wheel. It's time to spin that wheel. Let's see if I win anything. Yeah, today is Veterans Day, so big shout out, big thank you to all the veterans out there. Monday, Veterans Day. We wouldn't be here without you, so that's definitely a reason to celebrate, reason to thank today. So make sure you do that. Let's spin that WAP wheel. Pulling it up now. probably won't win anything, but you never know. That's why you got to spin it. All right, here we go. So, spin that wheel. Someone just won technicals only. Oh, nothing. What'd I expect? Let's see. Hold on. Let's see who just won some stuff. We can see right here. Someone just won technicals only. Bill and Axman. There you go. Bill and Axman. Technicals only. There you go. All right. With that out of the way, let's go into the earnings calendar of the week. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Let's see what we got on the docket here. And then we'll pull up that economic calendar, and then we will get started with the levels, with the technicals. So here we go. Earnings calendar this week. Tomorrow, some interesting ones. Shopify, Home Depot, C Limited. Remember that name? OnCloud. I actually just bought some new OnClouds yesterday, so maybe I am contributing to a good earnings report for OnCloud, On Running, whatever you want to call them, just On. Yeah. Hertz, my old company that I used to work for. Hertz. SoundHound, that's been a sort of a runner lately. If you guys remember, this was the company that NVIDIA invested in. Kava has been an absolute monster. Spotify coming out tomorrow as well. What else we got here? Disney on Thursday. ASTS on Thursday after close. That's that ASTS stock that I've been watching. Applied Materials, Alibaba on Friday. So some interesting ones. I think the Shopify, Home Depot, definitely interesting for me tomorrow before open. All right? So that's that. Let's now go ahead and pull up the economic calendar, and let's see what we got on the economic calendar this week. I actually have not looked at this one time. I had a very busy morning trying to get things together here. So this is my first time looking at it with you. So today is the bank holiday. A reminder that we gave out on Friday, hopefully you remembered, is that your money will not clear today. If you have a cash account, then if you used all of your available cash, you will not have it available today. So you will not be able to trade. Made sure I had some available cash today to make sure I can take some action if I have to, if I see anything. But today's a bank holiday. It's a Veterans Day. Thank you to the veterans. And yeah, money will not clear today from Friday. All your money will be back in tomorrow. Tomorrow, a lot of speaking heads, a lot of talking heads tomorrow, it looks like. A lot of FOMC members talking. Into Wednesday, which is CPI on Wednesday morning. 8:30 Wednesday morning, CPI. 8:30 Thursday morning, PPI. And then we end the week with retail sales. And that's that. All right? All right, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into the technical analysis. Let's jump into the charts. Let's jump into what happened here on the Nasdaq futures. And let's do it. Press that like button for me if you could. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for the 90,000 subscribers. I do appreciate that. We are at 90,000, man. Almost there. 10,000 away from that $100,000 mark, or 100,000 subscriber mark. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Let's get started. So, today, Nasdaq futures, I mean, it's just running away, right? It's running away. You gotta find those pullbacks. You gotta try not to get too aggressive. The thing that I think of when I see this type of market, and the way I protect myself when I see this type of market, is as we go higher, right? As we go higher, as the stock market goes higher, I decrease my position sizes. All right, so as this goes higher, as we just get frothier and frothier and frothier, as this continues to rally, I will continue to take shots and take some longs off some key levels, but it is not going to be at the same size that I was, or that I would do at a key demand low, right? So if you guys remember this, I don't know if you remember these levels. I know they were just a week ago, but if you remember our levels that we were screaming and hollering about on this live stream every day, the 20,000 demand, right? The previous lows here. This is where I would love to get aggressively long, right? With large size. I know it's inverse, right? And maybe this is the difference, the change that you need to do when you're trading. What you would assume is, right? What you would assume the thing to do is hey, when we're moving lower, don't go long, and then when we're going straight up, oh, let me start getting really aggressive on longs. However, if you come to my live streams, you know that is the exact opposite of how I trade, and that is the exact opposite of every, sad to say, but retail trader that probably loses, right? And so no one wants to long down here. Everyone wants to long up here, right? And so that's the problem with trading, guys. That's the problem, and that's the thing I challenge you to stop thinking that way. Stop thinking like the herd. Stop thinking like everyone else that's trading for the first time in their lives. Stop just longing when the market's only going up, right? When the market's pulling back in a bullish uptrending move, when you zoom out, these are your best long opportunities, and I have yelled and screamed about these longs on this live stream for weeks on end. Whether you believed it or not, we yelled and screamed about the longs off that 57.30, and that was the best long, right? And so this is where you want to long, right? When everyone starts getting scared, oh my God, I can't believe the market's down 0.5%. That's crazy, except it's right into key demands. And so the reason I talk about this is because when I look at this market and it gets more deviated from the 20 SMA, it gets more straight up, right? I want to be a profit taker into this. You should already be in positions here. If you are not, then you have to punish yourself and say, hey, man, I'm not long already. I still am not long, and I need to not be starting to get aggressive long at this point. I need something of a pullback, right? This market will pull back. There will be a pullback. It's healthy. It will happen, and that's when you're going to want to get aggressive. But for now, how I recommend protecting yourself is as this goes higher, you are decreasing your long positions, right? You're decreasing your long size. If you're going to take a long, the higher this goes, the smaller the size, right? And so if you do catch the top by some mistake, right, say, okay, I'm going to try a little long today. I'm going to take it light because of how extended we are. You know, if you do end up catching the top and you do get dumped on, at least you can say, hey, I was doing the smart thing, decreasing size as we pushed higher, and just in case we do get that drop, you know, that sort of quick drop, I will take a loss, but at least I'm not going monster size at extended levels, right? So I'm going to keep trying some longs out there, guys, no doubt about it, but it's not going to be a long that's going to be anywhere near the size that I was trading with on Tesla, right? Something along those lines, not even close, no doubt. Not interested in that type of trade. So wanted to first start with that, guys, just to sort of preface how I will continue to trade this market as we just rally straight to the upside. And now let's go ahead and talk about some levels to watch, right? So previous all-time highs on the Nasdaq, it's pretty much this zone right here, 21,200 to 21,250. As of right now, I mean, this is the cleanest hold you could possibly see right above those highs, right? You can see right now the Nasdaq futures is perfectly holding above previous all-time highs, which I believe I'm going to look at as more of a zone between 20,200 and 20,250. So it's pretty clear today that if we're above 20,200 and we're sort of consolidating in this zone, then this market is still extremely bullish. So to me, as long as we're over 200, as long as we're over even 250, this is a very bullish market, and I would continue to look for longs at or around this zone, right? 20,200 to 20,250. This would be my long zone to be looking for longs, right, if we do pull back into this zone. Now, if we break under 20,200, that would be something that I think could cause a little bit of weakness on this market in the short term. That would be a break back under that Thursday level. That would be a break back under this Friday level, right? So if we do break back under that 20,200, then I think you can start to look for a little bit more of a pullback move, right? So right here, 21,200. My bad, guys. You can see it on the side. 21,200 to 21,250, right? So if we break under 21,200, then I think, hey, you know, let's get a little bit cautious here. Might be a little bit more downside. That's probably the level that will, if we break that, you'll get a little bit of a flip on the market. So under 21,200, I think you trade back down into this 21,120. That is this low from that Friday pre-market. That's some of this hold from that Thursday move. So if we do break under that 200, you probably navigate down to that 130, right? Under that 130 is where you will navigate lower, right, and move into that 21,000 level, okay? So there's some pullback levels that I would wait for to really get interested, and these are all levels that go back quite some time ago, right? If I go to the 4-hour chart, you got to go all the way back on the 4-hour chart, and I got to zoom out here. So all the way back on the 4-hour chart, the 21,000 level is right here. We've talked about this level. 21,000 is right here. And then 20,890 is right here. This is all the way back from the previous all-time high move on the Nasdaq futures. So if I zoom back into the 15-minute chart, you guys can see right here. This is the 21,000 zone right here. And this is the 20,890 level that we just talked about on that 4-hour chart. So at this point, right, I'm either going to look for pullbacks into 21,200, 21,250 to see if that sets up a new long. If we get under that, I'll watch the 21,130. And if we get under that, I'll watch the 21,000. Every single one of these levels, I'm going to look to see if there's holds longs that step up. And it's a tough time, right? It's just this is harder to me. It's harder to long in a market like this than it is to long in a sort of downtrending, short-term downtrend, right? So I'd prefer if the market was, doing a pop and then sort of doing something like this, and then finding that next long opportunity. That's much more enticing to me than longing into, just this sort of squeezer straight up. So it's going to be a little bit difficult today, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot of emotion out there, a lot of FOMO. There's going to be a day out there that just gets so frothy that you're going to get downside and a lot of people caught on the wrong side. That will happen, right? It's coming. It will happen. And that will be the day that you get that, you guys seen that meme where it's like it's like the bears told you so. You remember that, that meme that's like this? And it's like, told you so, right? So you'll get the bears that come out on social media. You'll get the people in the live stream and say, "Oh, I told you, Desi, look at the downside today. I can't believe it. How could you be long," right? And then this is really what the market looks like, right? It's up 7% and it's down 0.25% on the day. That day will come, right? And we'll be aware of that. I think that day probably comes if you break under 21,200, right? 21,200. If you break under that level, you'll probably get a little bit more downside pressure, probably towards that 130 and possibly back down towards that 21,000, right? Those would be the levels I'd look for. This day right here is sort of what concerns me, guys. This day right here. I don't really like this Thursday move. It's too straight up to me. And on the QQQ, it's this move right here on Thursday. You see sort of this straight up juicer. I don't really like that day. That day, I think, will fill. I think the retest of that previous all-time high in the QQQ will eventually come in. That's 505. That is possibly where, that sort of downside move that, the bears rejoice on is probably where that day probably comes at some point. And then the QQQ will simply just be retesting the previous all-time high level. That's really, and I talked about this last week, that's really the long that you want to be in. You want to be in a long back at the previous all-time high, right? Right here. Back at the previous all-time high at 505, right? That's really the level that I would want to be long, comfortably, on a nice, what is this? This is it's about a 2% pullback right back into previous all-time highs. So that's definitely something I would be watching, okay? Nasdaq futures, I'll go over this once again. The levels are, I would say, a little bit TBD, right? I definitely am using these levels as a guide, but these are all, guys, these are all-time high levels. These are all very extended levels, so I'm not trusting these with major size as the market sits this high. 21,250 to 21,200, that's my first zone. 21,130, that's my next level. And then finally, for today, 21,000 will be my next watch, okay? 21,000 is pretty equal to the QQQ 505, right? Right around there. So now let's go into the QQQ levels. QQQ right here, first level very clear is 515. 515, 515, and 515. You can see right there, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 515, very clear level. If you hold above that level, then the QQQ is going higher. No doubt about it, okay? 515 on the Qs, about as clear as can be. If we break under 515, we're going straight to 512. That's about as clear as it gets as well. 512, 512, that's very clear. So if we break under 515, we likely trade back into 512, okay? If we break under 515, you could look to short into 512. I personally would not. But I would look to see if 512 becomes a new long opportunity, right? Right here. 512, 512, 512. So that would be my next watch there on the QQQ Under 515, watch 512. Now, if we break under 512 here on the Qs, guys, this is where I start to get concerned for that more aggressive drop day that you probably should expect at some point here on the market, okay? If you're not expecting a down day on this market at some point, then that's pretty asinine in my opinion, right? That's sort of crazy. Under here, 512, that's where you get your down day in my opinion. You probably get your down day towards 505, right? You probably get your 1% drop, which is exactly what I'm talking about. The 7% upside, the 1% downside, and the I told you so, right? That's the day, right? That's probably the day. The bears I told you so day that we'd get a 1% downside day is probably back into the previous all-time highs on the QQQ, and that would be the reload spot for me. I would ignore all the idiotic comments, and I would pay attention to what the market's doing and pay attention to the 505 key demand level. That could be the break and retest of previous all-time highs on the QQQ. So that's what I'll be waiting for, right? If we break under 515, watch 512. If we break under 512, we go to 505, and that would personally be my favorite new long opportunity down in this level, okay? That would be my advice to you as you navigate the markets here today. Hold on one second, guys. All right, let's go to the S&P 500. S&P 500 futures. Here we go. So, some key levels here. Man, this thing's just running. But there are some key levels to watch below, right? Number one is 6,030. I don't quite like this level. This is not a level I would long off of today personally. It's a little bit of a short-term level. It's a little gap fill level here. It's something, it's sort of at that futures gap up that started overnight. It's right around this 6,030 level. Could the market pull back to this and hold today? Absolutely, right? If the market just wants to absolutely rip and not see any kind of aggressive pullbacks, then you're just going to hold 6,030 and you're going to continue this stair-stepping move higher. I think the best level to look today is 6,010. I think this is your next most interesting long at the moment. This is a very clear Thursday and Friday pre-market high. You can see right there at 6,010. This would be my long spot. If we can get back down to that 6,010, this would be where I'd be a little bit more comfortable in taking that next long opportunity. This would be just about a 0.7% drop back down to 6,010. That would be my next favorite spot. If we break under 6,010, then I like that Thursday low, that Friday pre-market low, right around that 59.85. That would be your 1% drop, right? So your 1% drop would be back down into that Thursday low, back into that Friday pre-market low, and back down into this 59.85, okay? So right there, right, 59.85, 6,010, interesting level as well, previous highs here. 6,030, possibly an aggressive level. I don't know if I love it. It's too short term, so I don't think I'll be trading off of it. I would probably be waiting for this or this to find my pullback longs. 6,010, 59.85. If we break under 59.85, then we get our more aggressive drop towards the 59.50, which is right here. You can see right here, 59.50, 59.50, and 59.50. Okay? Pullback longs. That's how you trade this. This is not, you don't just long things in a pre-market gap up. That is not how you trade a bullish market. That is how a amateur would trade a bullish market, in my opinion. You do not need to chase gap ups every day in a bullish market. There will be pullbacks. You just have to really pay attention to where they are, and you need to not panic when the market goes down, right? If the market drops, it is not, all right, so this is and I talk from statistics. I talk from experience in numbers. There are times where what I say is wrong, but typically this idea would be right more than 50% of the time in a uptrending market. The fear right now for most traders is on that first red day is, oh my God, that's the top, right? And that fear of, oh my God, that's the top, after some downside is the exact fear that stops them from longing the next pullback level and seeing the market retrace back to the upside, right? So on every downside from this point forward, the normal emotion that comes into a trader's mind is, oh my God, that's the top. I can't long anymore, right? And so what happens is you get your pullback to 6,010. Oh my God, that's the top. 6,010 holds, new highs the next day, right? And then you sit back and then you long that level, right? You long the breakout because you're like, holy shit, it's not the top. And then it pulls back again, right, to 6,030. I just took a loss, right? Oh my God, that's the top. I can't long anymore. Next level holds, new highs, right? And so that is the that's just the revolutions, right, that causes traders to lose, right? And what you want to look for in this time is you want to stay on the side of the trend, which is the upside, and you want to embrace the pullbacks, and you want to look for where the pullbacks come into and find your next longs, right? You're not scared that there is a top on the market. You are looking for where is the pullback long, all right? And so you don't got to listen to me. The advice I give you has made me a lot of money this year, and I would, do you, but that is my personal recommendation. So next, SPY, 598. This is your first level, right? This is your first level, 598. You have a gap here from the overnight session on the SPY. I would assume the SPY at the very least, touches 598 today. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. If this thing is just frothy as hell and continues higher, that's wild. I don't expect that, nor will I expect that and put that into my mind, right? I will not put, we're going straight up today, into my mind today. That is the last thing I want to be in my mind. I want to be as cautious as possible as we move higher and really be precise. I am not interested in gap ups in the pre-market. That is actually making me more concerned about larger downside. I'd honestly prefer gap downs, right? Gap downs into demands is really what you want, because a gap down into demand is gonna light up the eyes of those bullish pullback traders, right? The ones that are really focused on the key levels. So right now, gap up, I would really prefer the SPY come back down into 598, right? And come back and fill this little gap up that came in. So I would first watch that level. That is the exact level as ES 60,030. 60,000. Imagine the ES was at 60,000. Sorry about that. 6,030 is the exact level as the SPY 598. So I would watch that 598 here. If you break under 598, I love this level right here. This 596.70, this previous high from Thursday and this pre-market high on Friday, this is my level, right? If I can see a move back into here, this would be my level for that next long to watch today. 596.70, I would really like that. Underneath that, I would really like the 594 as well, right? So come back down into this low, into that little Friday low, right? Maybe get a 1% drop back down into 594, get everyone panicked, reload the longs, and see this market grind back higher, right? Wouldn't that look like a very bullish market still? Just because you drop 1% here does not mean that this market is bearish, right? So this would still be an extremely bullish market structure. Even a drop down to 594, you could see this low hold, another low hold, right? Create those longs, good risk reward, see that back to the upside. This could still be a fantastic trade. So I would embrace the pullbacks. 598, 596.70, 594. This would be my most interesting. 596.70 would be also very interesting. Look for the pullback longs. Under that, 592 and 590. Okay? IWM. Huge move on the IWM. Small caps are absolutely ripping. All-time high on the IWM, 240. Am I in the right level? Hold on here. Yeah, 244.46. Really, let's call it 244.50 is the all-time high on the weekly chart on the IWM. Holds over 230 are key, in my opinion. If we look at this right here, holds over that 230 level would be major. Let's go ahead and take a little zoomed-in look here. You can see right here, IWM never pulled back to that 230. Sure as hell held it, right? And then created, it looks to me like a little short-term level here, right? So that's why I put this on my charts today, 235. you can see a little bit of step up there at the 235. So you might be able to start watching that 235. 230, right? 230, very big level. Nice hold. Nice upside continuation. Looks like 235 has created itself, sort of formed itself here from Thursday, Friday. And this is all-time highs on IWM, 244.50. So not sure I'd be looking for longs right into that. But you could definitely look for the pullbacks. Number one, I would say 239, previous highs here, could be interesting. 239, 239, that would be an interesting spot. Below that, 235, and then ultimately the 230 pullback would be very nice. Be careful longing right into 244.50. Okay, that's all-time highs. All right, let's go into the Dow Jones, Daniel Jones. Man, Daniel Jones is bad, huh? Holy shit, he's bad. I think the loss against the Panthers might be it. That might be it. That I hope that's it, man, for my poor Giants. All right, Dow Jones. You want this drop, okay? You want this drop right here. You want this drop into 43,580. How do I change the color so quickly? Probably because I'm used to playing games on mouse and keyboard. Yes, that's probably right. I mean, I'm like red. I can go red, yellow, green, back to the line, back to the square, back to the free draw. Yeah, it's all the. Anyways, 43,850. You want that drop eventually, right? You want that drop eventually on the Dow. I know you're not going to get it probably in the short term, but that is the drop you want, guys. That'd be a sexy, sexy, sexy long right there. 43,850, previous highs. If you can get this pullback, man, that would be a special, special opportunity. That's what you want to see happen. That is a previous major high. That would be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful retest and a beautiful, beautiful long opportunity. So I would watch that 43,850. That would very, very much be a key spot to pay attention to in my eyes. If you can get that, look for that long on the Dow names. Looks like this 44,000 level could also be an interesting pullback right here. 44K on the Dow, right? If you pull back to there and these previous highs, watch that 44K. But below that, you even have like this, it looks to me like 43,850 area, but I'm just going to keep this on my charts, 43,580 and 44,000. Those would be my two levels to watch in the Dow, and I would wait for the pullbacks to them. 44K, previous highs here, could be an interesting long, and then 43,580 would be that beautiful, beautiful entry point. Okay, that is about, is that 1%? 1.5% back to the downside. All right, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Before we jump into the stocks, I want to talk about a little idea that I have with you guys, and something that's, I think, an interesting concept that I have potentially started here. I'm gonna unleash it to the public, just to you guys for now. So not too many people hopefully know about it. But this is something that I'm going to do personally, and I hope to get more traders involved in this idea, and hopefully this will help some of you out there. So this is a website that I'm going to create. It's called TraderTees.co, TraderTees.co. You can go to the website right now if you want, and you can buy a sweater if you'd like. But this is not just a merch store. So if you guys are aware of like those car giveaways, right, where you buy merch and you give away cars, right? It's like 80/80, I think, is the company. I want to create that for traders. So work in progress, right? Work in progress. But what I want to do with this is have not just me, but every trading community involved, right? And have their merch on the store, and have them give away memberships, give away money, right? You buy merch, you get entered into a giveaway to help fund your trading account, right? Whether that's through a membership, lifetime membership, whether that's through maybe it's some kind of a dollar amount giveaway, some kind of giveaway, whatever it may be, you get entered into that by buying the merchandise from whichever creator. For me, for now, it's just me. So maybe we'll get Carmine on here. Maybe we'll get TB on here, right? Maybe we'll get Trade Brigade on here. Maybe we'll get, who knows? Maybe we'll get some more creators out there to be interested. They'll give away their memberships. They'll give away dollar amounts. You can scroll through the website and see all the active giveaways that are going on, right? Oh, hey, Team Bull is giving away this today. Invest-to-Trade is giving away this today. TB is giving away this today. I'm giving away a lifetime membership. I'll go ahead and maybe I like their company. I'll maybe buy a little bit of merch, right? And you get entered to join. So that's something that I'm going to create. If you want to go ahead and join the giveaway for a lifetime membership right now, go ahead and take a look. You can buy one of my new TTL hoodies, right? We got the TTL hoodie coming out with the nice little bull on the back. If you want to go ahead and check it out, it's called tradertees.com. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the right there. We got some merch ready to go, and you can have a chance to win a lifetime membership. If you buy a piece of merch, every dollar you spend gets you one entry. I'm going to get this much more set up. This is early days, but I figured I'd share it with you guys today. All right, so that's that. Early days. Yeah, don't really expect much out of it right now, but let's continue. Teslita, Spicy Latina. Man, I don't even know how much I'm gonna be up today on Tesla. I haven't even looked, nor do I care to look. It's gonna be a lot. And yeah. One second. So, looks like it's going to be a lot. Yeah, margin. 1 second. Big levels on Tesla today. 347, 350. 347, 350. Big level up there. 347, 350. Be careful of that level above, please. That's going to be a heavy supply level up in there, okay? Keep an eye on that area, 347, 350. Definitely important. I would expect to get something of a gap fill on this at some point, okay? I really do believe that. Under 347, under 350, I expect weakness to come in. I would expect some type of a gap fill at 325. That would really be the level I'd want to see us pull back to. Now, if you watch my video on Friday, I talked about a reason why I held overnight. There was one reason, and one reason only, why I held overnight. This is why, right? And I'll talk about it right now. The reason I held overnight, over the weekend, is because of $315. This is what I talked about in the video on Friday that I posted. Why is that, right? Why is that? It's because 315 is a previous major triple top high that we held as a key support, right? And so I am going to continue to trade Tesla based off of technicals and technicals only. I am not going to trade this based off of emotion, right? And so right here, you guys can see that Tesla had a very clear previous triple top at 315. This was a very major level I was watching on Friday. We talked about this on Friday in the pre-market live stream at 315, okay? Now, if we go into the intraday action on Friday, take a look at this. Take a look at 315 on Friday, right? Look at this level on Friday, and you can see we held above 315. We did pull back late day, but guess what? We held above 315. And so in my eyes, Tesla holding above a daily chart triple top into close of a Friday, I'm holding, right? I am holding long. And so that decision right there is what, right? And I don't expect this to happen, right? I'm not, I'm long, I'm staying long 315 because I know Tesla's going to gap up 7% on Monday. That is not the case at all. What the case is, hey, I'm going to stay long and ride this train, right? And just see what happens, right? And just stay long, right? Stay long as the technicals tell me. And if this happens, That's my payoff for being confident, right? And so this is a dream open for Tesla for me. But the reason I'm here is just because I'm staying disciplined. I'm staying disciplined, and I'm focusing on the levels to guide my trading decision. If it's above that previous triple top, why would I not be long, right? That's huge. That's a huge daily chart triple top. You got to stay long if it's turning that into a support. That's a major, major flip, right? And so today, while this might get, this might hurt a little bit on the intraday, right? If we do see this drop, it might hurt a little bit on the intraday. But to be honest, guys, you really have to stay long Tesla as long as it's over 325. You can't exit Tesla if it's above this high, right? Think about that logically. Hey, I'm going to exit Tesla. I think this is it. It's still above the previous day high, right? That doesn't make any sense. So while this might hurt a little bit, if we do get some pullback, the numbers might decrease a little bit. Technically, this is still a fantastic, place to stay long. We shall see, right? And if you get this gap fill, guys, I pray to God that someone's interested in longing off this level, right? I pray. Because if we're not interested in longing on a 325 gap fill pullback, then I don't know when we're going to get interested. So if Tesla pulls back to 325 today and fills this gap, and you're still not going to, take a shot, then I don't know what else to say, right? If you get that, please pay attention to that. And if you get a pullback to 315, please pay attention to those two opportunities there, okay? So 325, 315, keep an eye on those two levels. Above these levels, 347, 350, be looking out for that 347, 350 supply high. If you get over 350, then this is something special. Over 350, I really don't see much here. Over 350, you're probably going to 372, 385, and then, you're right back you're almost at all-time highs, which is insane. If you guys were part of the Discord, if you follow me on a daily basis, we've talked about why not me, right? We've talked about the why not me trade. You guys should be very aware of the why not me trade if you pay attention to me and pay attention to what I talk about. Why is the Nasdaq at all-time highs, and why is Tesla not? Is Tesla a worse company than it was in 2021? Is Tesla doing worse now than it was in 2021? The answer to that is no. Okay, the Nasdaq's at all-time highs. The S&P is ripping through all-time highs. Why not Tesla, right? And so that why not me trade idea has made me a lot of money, right? The catch-up trade, the Google catch-up trade. Why not Google, right? Why was Google down here as the Nasdaq was all-time highs, right? That thing has sent aggressively. It doesn't always work, but in Tesla's case, you get that earnings that was very strong. You get the momentum behind it. And that's what's happening right now on Tesla. This is a mass, oh shit, I need to be invested in Tesla move. That's exactly what this is, right? This is a, oh shit, we are not exposed to Tesla as much as we should be move. That's what you're currently seeing. It will fall, right? It will fall. It will pull back. And I would look for opportunities, right? So 350, 347, big supply above. Be careful there. Look for the gap fill longs, 325, 315. Okay, very nice. Next, NVIDIA. A little bit of quietness on the SMH, a little bit of quietness on the semiconductors. Semiconductors need to hold above 257 today. Keep an eye on 257. If it holds above that, I think you can get those semis to wake up a little bit, but you have to hold 257, in my opinion, on the SMH today. If not, then a little bit cautious on NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been a little bit slow, okay? 148.70, 150. I'd be a little bit cautious longing into these highs, guys. Not a big fan of it. I'm just not a big fan of longing NVIDIA into these highs. It's looked very weak at these highs. It looked like there's a lot of selling. So I'm a little bit cautious on it. You have earnings in 2 weeks. Semiconductors have been So I'm going to give this one a little bit of space. I'm going to wait for extreme pullbacks to get involved. So for me, I'm not longing NVIDIA until it's back at 144.50, personally. 144.50, previous all-time highs, I am not longing that until it gets back to that level, right here. 144.50, previous all-time highs. I will not long NVIDIA until it is back at that level, right here. So 144.50, that's my new long. I'm going to let that thing continue to consolidate lower into that previous all-time high, and that's where I'll look for my next long opportunity, okay? Until then, leaving NVIDIA alone. You might see a little bit of action here off the 146.50. You can see this very clear low that stepped up. You might see a little bit of action there. You might see some action if it gets over 148.70 today, but please be careful of that 150 high. There is definitely some selling stacked up here prior to earnings around 150. Carmine, how you doing, brother? Good morning. Thanks for stopping by. We'll get Carmine on TraderTees.co. All right, AMD. AMD. Still shit. Still shit. It's just a shit move right now. It's a shit intraday action. It's just not a stock that I'd be looking to trade at the moment. 150 is the big spot. This is either a very interesting cup and handle breakout, right? Or this is simply a break and retest rejection, and this thing's just dead again. One of the two is going to happen here. I would pay attention to it, but I would not trade it right now. So if it is a cup and handle, right, if you do get that sort of cup and handle breakout, if you do get that move, you're going to want to wait until it gets over 150, right? If you want the cup and handle long, wait until it gets over 150. Do not long it under 150. If you're looking for the break and retest rejection, then I would look for the rejection of 150 here to create that next leg lower. Either way, I would wait to see what happens at 150 a little bit more, right? Look for either that break and hold above 150 for sort of that cup and handle long, or look to see if you can just get a failure of 150 and semis to stay weak, right? Either way, something to watch there. Qualcomm, another shitter. Something I'm lightly long over the weekend as well, but doesn't look like it's going to do much. 50 SMA, I'm staying long as it's above that level, but it just looks to be sort of dead here. If Qualcomm can't get back over 176 level here in the 100 SMA, it's likely dead. You got to hold this 50. If you fail below this 50, Qualcomm's coming back down to 163.50. Looks dead for now, but this is not where I panic out of positions. This is where I stay confident, watching the 50 SMA on Qualcomm. MU is actually probably the most interesting long today on semiconductors if we do find a long on semiconductors, and that is right here. That is 109, 109, 109, and 109. That's the 200 SMA. That's 109, 109, 109. Watch that 109 level. I don't have live night streams, Andrew. Okay. 109, 200 SMA. Watch that level on MU today. All right. Very big level there. Broadcom. Still a nice hold on Broadcom over that 180. I like that. Needs to get over this 186, though. Looks like Broadcom's pretty much just stuck between here. I'd actually do a little alert action here. At or above 186 or at or below 180. I'm just going to get an alert on one of the sides that if it gets touched on one side here on Broadcom. All right, I want to go to Meta because I think Meta might be one of my most favorite watches today. I do like Meta here. You guys can see Meta lows, Meta high. Sorry about that. Meta lows. Meta highs, and if this is a Meta low, this could be a really interesting breakout on Meta here. Take a look at this hourly chart on Meta. Look at this level. Bam, 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 bam. If this holds 585 on a break and sort of consolidation retest, a little inverse head and shoulder, if we get this move to be a hold of these previous major highs, this is going straight to 600. Meta, 585. I am absolutely watching this. If we can hold that, if we can see some nice strength off this level, I'm definitely going to keep eyes on it. Let's see what happens at 585 today. Amazon, we need pullbacks on Amazon. I'm waiting for 201.50. That's my pullback level. If it's not there, it's nowhere for me. 201.50, previous all-time highs. I need a retest of that level. If it's not there, it's nowhere. Dell, are we surprised? We talked about Dell 135. We talked about the break and retest of this zone. And it's doing exactly that. So, I'm not surprised. This is beautiful. This is exactly what we talked about. As long as Dell holds over that 134, 135 zone, you're going to, I think, 150. Right? I think you're going up into here. So, another beautiful hold on the break and retest. Perfect. All right, you did MU. Pay attention. Airbnb for pump makes up the losses. This thing looks sort of dead to me, brother. This 130 spot is a must hold, but this looks sort of dead. I don't know how their last earnings were, so I can't talk much about that, but I would say Airbnb must hold 130. Look at this low, 130, 130, 130. You got to hold that low right here. That's a must hold on Airbnb. Okay. Let's go to Coinbase and MicroStrategy. So something I want to point out today, guys, is $310 on Coinbase. This is a very big level. Why is this a big level? Why is 310 so big on Coinbase? Well, we got to go all the way back to the IPO, okay? Let's go all the way back to the IPO on Coinbase. What was $310 on the IPO on Coinbase? That was the low of the first week, okay? So the first week that Coinbase IPO'd, that's right here. That's the first week of the IPO. The first low, the low of that week was $310. Exactly, 310. I mean, look at the exact low. 310, no sense. Exactly 310. So I think if Coinbase can hold above that IPO low, that first week of the IPO, if it can hold above that level, then I think there could be more strength. You can see it's trying to do that, but it failed below it here. So if Coinbase fails 310 today, that would then be a rejection I'd look for and get the gap fill move. So for me, it's either over 310, right, to really see that hold that IPO low, or it's back to the gap fill 281.50 or that 265. Okay. MicroStrategy, also a very nice technical mover on MicroStrategy. Look at how clean this move has been if you just focus on the technicals. Previous highs, look at those holds, right? Look at that break and sort of consolidation retest. Look at that new structure that was created above that previous high, right? Very nice. Here's your structure 1. Here's your structure 2. So what are you looking for today? You want a long right here, guys. 280. That's your long on MicroStrategy. That's your non-chasing long. Get that thing back down, retest these previous structure highs, and look for the long off 280. That's your next long. That's the only thing I'm going to recommend. What did Margin want to look at? Margin, what do you want to look at again? Nike? It don't look good, Margin. I would not touch this. You need something to change here. You need a chart that's looking like it's strong with the market. This is definitely not the case. I would not touch Nike under 90. Look at this. 90, 90? No. That's no touch for me. AGNC? I have no idea about this, Margin. I'm sorry. No clue. I can't. I'm gonna have to do some much more analysis before I know that. No idea. Let's go over some small caps real quick, and then I'm jumping out of here. So one thing I will keep in your mind, guys, is pay attention to the breakouts here on small cap names. Number 1, Hood, Robinhood, big moves. Got to hold over this 33.25. 33.25 was the IPO low on Hood. If you get over 33.25, I think this thing goes. 33.25 is sort of exactly where it's rejecting today. If you can hold above that, I think it really goes. Why not look for a gap fill at 30? That would be beautiful as well. Toast, another black horse, dark horse name that I'm watching here. This is very interesting. So I would pay attention to Toast. I have been interested. I just never really took the shot, but you guys know we were talking about the thesis for Toast. $40 on Toast. I think big watch here. Watch $40 on Toast. That's a very interesting spot as well. And then finally, Hims. You guys know I love Hims. Himothy. All-time high, 25.40, 25.74. Pay attention to this one as well. Home Depot, yep. If it can hold above 405.85. Lululemon, watching that 4-hour break and retest. Very interested there as well. Look at the stair step on Lulu. Some really nice stuff. But it is time for me to go. Once again, guys, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's see if the Nasdaq can hold above this 200-250 zone today. check out tradertees.co up in the description, or up there, down in the description, and also in the chat, tradertees.co. Win a giveaway. Win an Options Insider giveaway. Win an Options Insider lifetime membership. Buy some merch if you guys want to check it out. Do that. Spin the WAP wheel. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for all the support. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.